I'm Melody Ann, founder of Author Nation. Author Nation is a community of authors. We are here to help you become a successful nonfiction author. If you have a book idea and you want it to become reality and you want the resources, you want your questions answered, you want support, you want networking, you want accountability, you don't want to write it alone in the corner of your basement, join Author Nation. I will put the link in the description. In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 ways to improve your writing. Lots of people ask me, how can I become a better writer? These 10 tips might surprise you. Number 1, think before you start writing. Too many people think writing is about putting a pen to paper and getting words out. That's the finish, that's the ending of the process. Writing means thinking about things, working things out. First think, then write. Number 2, know your audience. It's amazing how many times authors start writing and then they're struggling and then they come to me and I sit down and I ask them about their audience. I ask them their fears and their dreams and their wants and their goals and all about them. And as we're going through the conversation, suddenly the author's like, oh, I know what content to write. I know exactly what to write. Of course you do. You've thought about your reader. You've really thought about that ideal reader, and when you think about them and their struggles and everything they need from you, content gets a lot easier. Writing becomes so much easier. If I said to you, write a thank you letter to one of your teachers, just write a thank you letter to teachers, you'd be like, oh, what do I say? Ugh, I hated my English teacher in high school. I mean, what do I say? If I said to you, who was your favorite teacher? And you gave me a name, and I said, why was that teacher your favorite? You could, with emotion, tell me what you loved about that teacher. And if then I said, write that teacher a thank you letter, the content of that thank you letter would be so much easier to come up with. It would be far more real. It would be compelling. It would be engaging. That's how you write. And by the way, Ms. Horn, thank you so much for telling me I don't have to write I don't know on a test when I didn't know the answer. Turns out you could leave it blank. Number 3, brain dumps and brainstorming. I have seen authors trying to hold all the information in their head and they're trying to write, and it's overwhelming because it's, do I write this? Do I write that? Get it all out. Stop holding that information in your head. Dump it out somewhere, put it on paper, put it in a computer document, write it on the back of a napkin. I don't care where you put it, but get it out so you have somewhere to refer to. It doesn't matter where you put it, get it out so you have time and space in here to think and write. Number 4, make an outline. Now you've done that brain dump, now you have all the information out, organize it in some way. So you have I could write about A, B, C, or D. And so when you come to write, you can grab a topic and write it. Making an outline isn't about knowing what you have to say. Well, it is. But a lot of times people are like, well, I know what I want to say. It's like, yeah, that's great. Make an outline. Chunk it down into topics, smaller topics that are easier to write about. If you want to write 1,000 words a day, chunk it down into topics that are about 1,000 to 2,000 words. That way you can grab a topic and you can write about it because you've chunked it down. So make an outline. Number 5, prioritize your key points. Know exactly what your key points are so when you're writing, you don't wander off in a million directions. This is something else I see writers do, and then they're like, I'm not a very good writer. It's like, yeah, you're rambling. So know what your key points are so that you can stick to them when you're writing, and that will make your writing far more powerful. Number 6, I said it above an outline, but I'll say it again. Break your writing into chunks. That's what the outline is about. That's why we prioritize our key points so that we can break it down into doable chunks. This helps you, the writer. You grab a chunk each day, you write 1,000 words on it. This will also help your reader because as you're forming the book and you're revising it, you use subheadings and headings, and that will help you write the book, and then it helps your reader digest the material. So chunk it down. Number 7, use bullet points. Guess what? When you write bullet points, you're writing. That's writing. A lot of people is like, oh, I didn't do anything today. All I could think of was bullet points. I didn't write sentences. Guess what? Those bullet points can become sentences. It's really great. You make an outline, you chunk it down, you take a chunk, you write bullet points, and then from there, you can write full sentences. You turn the bullet points into full sentence and you add examples and illustrations and so forth. So if you need to start with bullet points, start with bullet points. That's an amazing place to start a writing project. Outline, key points, chunk it down, bullet points, and then writing your sentences will be so much easier. Number 8, pen a love letter to a reader. A lot of times it's hard to write because authors are writing in generalizations. They're trying to speak to 10,000 people at once, and they land up writing something that is so generic and boring and uninspiring. Pick one person. Write to that one ideal reader. Imagine that person in your head. Imagine that person is sitting across from you at coffee, and instead of writing, you are sitting there talking to them. You're like, let me help you make writing easier. Let me help you become a better writer. I am here to support you. You will be more passionate. You will have more compassion, more empathy. Your personality will shine through, and that makes compelling, engaging writing. So instead of trying to write a generic book, write a love letter, write a book to one person. If you write to one person, thousands of people will love your book, and they think that you're writing to them, because that's what it'll feel like when they're reading it. Number 9, keep your writing simple. You do not need to impress your high school English teacher here. Keep it simple. Use simple words. Use simple sentences. You have nothing to prove to us. We are not reading your book to determine your IQ. We are not reading your book to determine how literary you are. We are reading your book because we want your wisdom. You are going to help us with something. You are giving us ideas that we can use in our life. You do not have to make it complicated. The language does not need to be complicated. You do not have to use complicated words or big words. Use simple words. Use simple sentences. The magic is in the message, not in how literary it is. Finally, number 10, use a grammar checker, like Pro Writing Aid, for example. And I know this sounds odd, and I don't just mean like throw it in there and edit it. One of the things that as an editor I often do with the people I work with is I help them improve their own writing. As an editor, I see patterns, and I can say, oh, this is a pattern of yours. If you break it, you will become a better writer. Some people, for example, use passive voice all the time. Other people want to start every sentence with it is or there is. And as an editor, I can see those patterns. An even less expensive way than hiring me is to just buy something like Pro Writing Aid or Grammarly and let them show you your patterns. Pay attention to what your patterns are, what they're correcting, the same thing over and over and over again, and you can actually improve your writing that way. You want to be a better writer? Let an editor or an editing software help you find your patterns so you can break them and become a better writer. Writing doesn't have to be an excruciating experience. Becoming a better writer does take practice, and these 10 steps will help you improve your writing skills, become a better writer, and share your message authentically and articulate yourself really well on paper. If you're working on a book, download the Author Nation Planning Checklist. It will help make your author journey easier and more successful.